So, welcome once again to all the delegates at the Indian Education Innovation Conclave and the awards that is being organized by Entrepreneur Media today. We have a very interesting session coming right up, which is the future of education and the future of work and how they are both going to together match. And none other than joining us is none other than Mr. Vijay K. Thadani, who's the Vice Chairman and Managing Director of NIIT Limited and also the co-founder of NIIT University. Mr. Thadani has spent over 40 years in the education industry, and I can well tell you this, that my first tryst with technology in education actually started at NIIT when I was about 20 years old. And I think, sir, with the kind of foundation that you laid out back in those years for students to be, having a tryst with technology and being able to expose themselves to technology, I can bet on it that a lot of these edtech companies that we are seeing today out there actually have studied from your very institution and got their first dose of technology there. And today they are built an entire industry out of it. So thank you for doing that initial spade work. And today NIIT University has become a huge name in terms of promoting the new age education, bringing the innovation in education that is truly required in the higher education level today. So Mr. Thadani is going to really give us some wonderful insights as to how future of learning and future of work are likely to match going forward. So over to you, Mr. Thadani, as we'd love to hear your thoughts on the subject.
Thank you, Ritu. Thank you for a very generous introduction. I was wondering why there is a twinkle in your eyes. You are an NIIT. Okay, my compliments to you and Entrepreneurship India for your persistent commitment to continue to hold this excellent conference every year. The last time I spoke, I think, is about 9 or 10 years ago. And that time, very interestingly, I was talking about how brick and mortar available elsewhere in the country can be used for franchising education and how you can build first generation entrepreneurs as franchise partners. So anyway, so today we are here to talk about future of work and future of education and how will they match. So first, let me start by first of all saying that work and education, I call them industry and academia, are two isolated islands when we start, with an occasional ferry service which runs between these two islands every year at the time of placement. I'm obviously being more unkind than required, but I'm trying to emphasize the point that industry and education for most of the higher educational sector do not have a strong enough relationship. It's not just to have a relationship, but a strong enough relationship. That's number one. And I think there are some new age universities like you talked about NIIT University, which have tried to break that barrier and have built a permanent bridge between these two islands. And a lot of what I'm going to talk about is out of that experience as well. Second, the debate on future of work has been going on for the last decade, ever since the word digital transformation appeared, automation of manufacturing, and then data becoming the oil of this century became a discussion point. Similarly, future of education discussion has been going on, I would say, for a much longer time, for nearly half a century, because that's an industry which in the last 250 years has transformed very little. And I would tend to believe that education is at least 2 generations behind on where the industry and society have reached. The response to this whole digital transformation, however, has been that of few early adopters, many naysayers, and large number of fence-sitters, not sure whether digital transformation will help. That was the situation on 19th of March. On 20th of March onwards, and I'm just taking that as a placeholder, I think our world changed, our narrative has changed. Today, everybody is a firm believer and the narrative has changed as to not why digital transformation, but how digital transformation. So I think that's a first important point. Work from home, shop from home, doctor from home, study from home. These are now the new habits that we have developed. Lifestyles have altered. I can't believe a wedding where there were only 50 guests, unless the boy and the girl had eloped, and otherwise, and not enough amount of hugging. And now we are discussing physical distancing and masks. So lifestyles are altering. Zoom, Meet, and Teams. They were English words which had different meanings in the dictionary. Now they are used in a different context. Swiggy the food, Paytm me the money, Uber to work, Netflix the movie, and the word new word which is in our dictionary now, in addition to these phrases, is the word new normal, or the phrase new normal. So everything that is talked about in new normal. I heard a mom asking her 4-year-old daughter, "You once again left food in your plate?" She says, "Mom, that's the new normal." So all kinds of this new normal has become a part of our vocabulary. Now, whenever such tectonic shifts happen in societies, wide experimentation gets driven, and innovation, digitalization is on a fast track. Response to digitalization is different. And I believe we have three kinds of organizations. We have digital natives. These organizations were born digital. So for them, it was very easy to switch. But even then, many of their business models get disturbed, but they bounce back very quickly. Airbnb is a great example of that. Digital veterans. Digital veterans are those which have used digital technology, but not exactly in the depth to which the natives have used. I would call NIIT and Microsoft are those. We taught technology to everybody. We could have used much more technology in our day-to-day functioning, and so can Microsoft say that. And then there are digital immigrants. They never had anything to do with anything to do is not, but very little to do with technology. I would call healthcare as one of them, education as one of them. They are really struggling to catch up. So while we are discussing future of work, I think the discussion has changed from future of work to future of workplace. That's another change that has happened. Remote working, which was done as a stopgap, businesses are realizing that actually remote working makes business sense. And Gartner's recent report says that even after everything dies down, I don't know what that will mean, but whatever that will mean, 50% of employees will continue to work from home. Microsoft has recently announced that 100% of their employees can permanently work from home if they would like to. Of course, the challenges are infrastructure, space, connectivity, security. And of course, there is a very important issue from the employee's side. And that is about loneliness, not getting an opportunity to have that, the cooler talks, which we all used to, or coffee room talks. Flexible staffing models is the second one. Gig workers, contractors. So now, same Gartner study talks about saying 1/3 of the workforce will be gig workers going forward. Again, people are realizing the benefits of that. Challenges in that will be continuity, cultural integration, teamwork. How do you enforce that? And the third issue is wider knowledge and deeper skills. Digital technologies, for example, will require a wider knowledge of the domain and deeper knowledge of certain aspects. Okay, so full stack developers, for example, is a great example where it was an assembly line principle kind of a thing in software development. Now the same person has to do everything. The boom in startups. Startups by design have fewer people and everybody has to do everything. So wider knowledge is required for that and deeper skills are required. India has done exceedingly well in education edtech startups. Uh, uh, if you believe NIT contributed to that, 350 startups, we have one world's 10% of world's edtech startups are in India, which is very good. Number 2 in the world. Should have been number 1, but will be, I'm sure. 21st century professional skills, because suddenly the social skills which were taken for granted, saying that, you come to office, you'll get to know everybody. Now there is no coming to office. So how do you build the social skills, right? And the second is the agility of decision making, the agility of response, communication skills, collaboration, thinking, and problem solving. These were earlier desirable traits, but now they are vital traits. Let's look at how this education has responded. Some element of technology existed in education for times immemorial, so nothing new. But after that, we had to suddenly switch to digital delivery, and the responses have been similar. There were organizations which were digital natives, they responded fast. Digital veterans responded next faster, and then digital immigrants are still studying. And I'm not getting into the detail of that, but we all know that we have online synchronous classrooms at least going on, which is we are trying to lift and shift the current classroom onto a video platform. Unfortunately, that's not working. Students are protesting and they are bored. So this is the bored students, exhausted teachers. Teachers are not prepared for it. And I think it is leading to a lot of discontentment. And many other solutions have to be put together in our own university, in our Center for Educational Technology. We have done some path-breaking work on improving engagement, effectiveness, and even efficiency of education. So if you look at it this way, a crisis is not an opportunity to be wasted. The stars are aligned. If digital learning is becoming the new normal and future of work also requires digital technologies, then technology is a key ingredient. The National Education Policy, which I'm sure Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe talked this morning, definitely provides a very, very encouraging platform and very, very open platform for us to therefore experiment. And a wide amount of experimentation is possible with full autonomy. So I would like to argue that future of education should be driven by the future of work. And future of work should determine the future of education, and that makes a lot of sense. On remote working, we will need to build these specific competencies of self-discipline, collaboration, communication, teamwork, social skills. Therefore, humanities and social sciences have to become an essential part of an engineering curriculum, which are today done more as a tick mark than in great detail, and not the theory of it, but how humans and social sciences work. An engineer graduating from college without a proper understanding of how the communities around us are faring, I think is incomplete. So humanities and social sciences have to be a very integral part of professional learning institutions, which are called the engineering and medical and stuff like that. Similarly, in arts and sciences, digital technologies have to play a very, very important role as an integral part of the curriculum, the application of that rather than the theory of that. The third part, which I would like to talk about, is the gig workers. Now, gig workers do not have the patience to pick up all the skills wait for 4 years to graduate and then go. There should be a possibility to create microcredits, and you gain the skill that you want, get a few credits, keep them in your bank, and then you carry forward. And if you noticed in national education policy, there has been a discussion on that. The doors will open slowly because obviously the policymakers have to be cautious in its implementation. But at this point of time, wide experimentation is possible. So multidisciplinary curriculum is again a crying need, crying need. I call it the thick T model, the wide enough curriculum with small depth and high depth curriculum, which is the area of specialization. So I think these are some very, very important needs. Last but not the least, in future of education, we have to look at education is also a workplace. So while we have talked at length about how students should be faring and how parents are feeling, we also need to think about how the faculty and staff which are working in the university or college, how are they faring? Who's looking after their training, their motivation? And I think those are also elements which have to be incorporated. So if education can transform this way, then we don't have to imagine these as two isolated islands, which was my earlier analogy. I would like to think of a new analogy now, which is of a rail track, where you have two rails. One is industry, one is education, and then there are fish plates who join them, which are the deep skilling, the skill providers. So the three of them, if they are tightened well and they are at the right distance, then education and industry will be synchronized. And then the train which is moving on top of these rails is the economy and the society. And that will be able to move fast. So we think of bullet trains in real life. Let's think of this bullet train called our economy, which is heading towards the $5 trillion mark. So imagine the rail tracks and the fish plates as the integral part of that journey. Let me go a step forward. We are having a wide experimentation, and I'll conclude with this. India is the largest education laboratory in the world because we have the largest number of possibilities by which education can be delivered. You know, the number of boards, the number of universities, the amount of autonomy, and now the experimentation. Therefore, the number of experiments going on are perhaps the maximum that may be happening in the world. NEP, National Education Policy, is providing a framework for future of education. It's a timely step. It's a very well appreciated step. And I think it's been an extremely well thought of futuristic policy. And if that is the deep appreciation that we are receiving, I think it is important for us to take advantage of that. There are some universities such as the NIT University that I talked about. We envisioned it as the university of future, but I'm sure there are a handful of others who are also working on all these dimensions that I talked about and demonstrating results, excellent results, I should say. We all need to sit on the same table, the policymaker, the universities, the industry, and the civic society. And then I think the Indian education system has an opportunity to emerge as a role model, which others will follow rather than our trying to look for what is possible. After all, we are the second largest educational system in the world. So the opportunity in this crisis is staring at us. Let's think of that as the new normal. So with that, I would like to close.
Thank you very much, sir. I think that was very, very insightful. And just like what you did with NIIT and technology education in early days, I'm almost seeing, because you're the first one today in the forum who's actually talked about the big emerging gig economy. And I think providing and being able to understand the need of that student who's thinking that he only or she only wants to work on projects and not really for the organization is a very different mindset. So, I mean, some of our people, audience who are there on the event platform are actually asking, in fact, it's Mr. Venkateshan who's saying that what is the future gig employment that you are thinking about? And how is it that our education and our educational policies are going to be able to accommodate that student who is only thinking that they want to work freelance and not really work for a certain organization at any point of time?
Okay. So I think the gig economy is onto us. So that is first thing that we have to realize. I mentioned that about a third of the workforce, and that's not something that we would like to ignore, correct? Now the question is, at this point of time, the policy has moved from the place, the earlier place, which was that you need to complete your degree. If it's 3 years, you must do it in 5 years. If it is 4 years, then you must do it in 6 years, right? That's approximately the framework which is allowed now. But now, I think in the education policy, they were bold enough to write that there should be an exit and re-entry, which means an exit in between and a re-entry which should be allowed. That is one step forward. That's still not microcredit. So that basically means that I took on a course and I decided that I will take a break after first year and then go and work in the industry, take a break, come back, maybe after 1 year, 2 years, and then continue with my second year and then do something else. I mean, I'm just imagining. But still means that you are still enrolled in that degree program, but you can take longer to finish it and take breaks. Credit transfer is another mechanism which is being thought of. Credit transfer and credits to the workplace experience, I think, will be another bold step as and when that happens. But the imagination that we have to build is that we are not far from the fact that very much like Ritu, you did a course in NIT not too long ago, okay? And from there, you now come back and say, well, you know what? I have those 11 credits of the last course, and can I now do another 20 credits? And by the way, when you will reach 100 credits, then we'll call you one day and say, okay, we give you a master's in so and so, so and so. So that is microcredits. Microcredits which you accumulate over a period of time, which result in a credential at the end. That definitely is going to be one of the trends, because we can't ignore 1/3 of the workforce. Second, whoever said that learning only happens in the institution? Learning happens at the workplace, learning happens at skilling institutions, learning happens in collaborative when you start a new company. So we, in fact, in Silicon Valley, if you were to go and stand before a fund manager and say, have you, that I have this, an idea, they'll say, have you failed before? If you have not failed before, frankly, you're not yet qualified. Why? Because now the cost of that failure will be very expensive for us. So I'm saying all this is also learning. We need to find a way of codifying that and building that. Now that's a slightly longish dream, but definitely over a period of time, one can imagine that that may be a possibility.
Sure. So, sir, another question which is come from Jamal Felix is how to provide skilled workforce for the nation through online platforms. And I mean, would universities also sort of be working on only online education and the student never coming to the university at all?
Okay, and all digital university is what we are talking about. It is widely believed that if this is possible, then that may be possible too. But at this point of time, I think in the realm of thinking, while there are experiments which are going on and those will continue, at this point of time, I think the model which one has got very comfortable with and with high degree of comfort and delivery, in skilling, it is possible to deliver all digital as well, because of an immersive methodology that you can use. In the university context, we are at a seamless blended model. Seamless means it should not happen that when you move from digital to physical, at that time there is a break or you feel a break, but it should be seamlessly blended. If you can introduce that, I think you can achieve a lot. But by the way, That's a major step ahead. Major step ahead. So if today 20% of learning can happen online, imagine if 80% could happen online, then how would life be? And 20% is work done with your own hands in your own labs, because you can't fly an airplane only by going to a flight simulator someday and without the passengers, right? So I think that is the context that I would like to talk about.
And sir, I think we'll take one final question, which is to say that the new NEP 2020 allows you to exit anytime for jobs. Is that a fair thing to do in that respect? Is somebody is asking? I mean, because of the breaks in education.
Absolutely. I thought that was your first question. How will that be possible? So
Yeah.
you can exit for a job and come back. Sure, why not?
Sure. But
Now,
I think
the other
where
thing
they're
is,
coming from is the break of continuity.
yeah, I understand. So the other thing is, uh, uh, definitely we can anticipate what all can happen and therefore provide a way of doing that. So, for example, in NIT University, I'm again using that example because that's where my learning is. We have run programs where the students did one semester in campus, 2 semesters they worked, and 1 semester they came back. And frankly, they were much more successful. Why? Because what they learned. See, we are worried about what you learned in the classroom. Will you remember that? I'm saying what you learned in your workplace, where does that come in your learning?
Sure.
So in this case, what you learn in the classroom, you apply. What you learn from that application, you come back and strengthen that knowledge. So how you design the course, if you know that that's how your students are going to behave, then pedagogical designs will have to change. And therefore, once you provide for it, I'm sure it is massively possible.
Sure. So thank you very much, sir. I think, the questions are still coming in, and we would request your team also if they can take a minute to answer those questions, because, with your help and taking your guidance for this. But we also have a small award ceremony where we're looking to recognize some digital learning companies who've made in this pandemic possible that education continued and we were able to go on. So I would hand it to Kavya to do the formalities for it. Over to you, Kavya.
Thank you very much, Ritu,
Okay,
and thank
so
you.
that's the Kavya.
Yes, namaste, sir. And
I think Ritu joined as you.
Yes.
Earlier.
what is it?
All right.
Okay. But sir, I must admit, I was taking down all the notes over here with my sketch pen, which was nearest to me, because every point you shared echoed so well with all of us. So I must thank you for your visionary thoughts. Thank you very much, sir. And I'm going to request you to please stay with us for the next couple of minutes.
We'll send you a small assessment. We'll send you a small assessment. Let's see how you perform.
Done, sir. Done. All
By
right.
the way, assessment is a very big challenge in online education.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right. Yeah.
Assessment
Absolutely.
is actually a bigger challenge than transfer of learning and skills. Okay.
And that's another. Yes, sir. And we'll take those nuggets of insights forward, ladies and gentlemen. And on that note, let's get our second set of awards started for all of you. And here we go with our first category, which is, let's have it on the screen as well. That's right, Best Online Personalized Learning Programs. Ladies and gentlemen, and the award goes to Whiz Club Learning. We'll all put our hands together meanwhile so that we can make some while the fanfare. All right. Now, Whiz Club, their mission is to create 1 million thinking minds that are smart learners and smart problem solvers, as well as smart thinkers. So congratulations, team. Very quickly, let's move forward to our next category as well. And here we go. Let's have it for you, which is dynamic use of artificial intelligence, that is AI, in education. Ladies and gentlemen, and the award goes to Olive Board Comtech Private Limited. Personalizing education for all, that's all aboard Comtech Private Limited. I know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the virtual avatar of making the presentation of the awards, but let's all become gung-ho and come together to cheer and to learn from our winners. Let's move on to the next category, which is Best Online Learning Management Platform. And the award goes to Bunch Microtechnologies. Well, empowering teachers to go all digital, that's the initiative. So congratulations, team. Time to quickly move on to our next category, and here we go. Best Career Planning Platform. Ladies and gentlemen, Best Career Planning Platform, absolutely pertinent. And the award goes to Mindler. Mindler is aiming to revolutionize the so-called unorganized sector of career counseling. So that's the initiative that they are into. So congratulations, team. Time for our next category. We're going back to back with this. So here we go. Let's have it on the screen for all of you. Best EdTech Solution of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, and the award goes to Redo Cypher. Well, there's someone who are actually revolutionizing the fact that Hollywood-grade security from video piracy for online counseling. Now, it's become so important when we're talking about security in terms of our online interaction. So I think it's absolutely important. So kudos to Video Cypher. Let's move on to our next category as well. And let's have it on the screen for all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Best Hiring or Internships Solution. And the award, ladies and gentlemen, goes to Imarticus Learning. Well, they're making practical learning a reality for the students and also preparing them for the jobs of tomorrow. So congratulations, team. We're now moving on to our next category very quickly, and here we go. Best Skills Solution Platform. Ladies and gentlemen, time for Best Skills Solution Platform, and the award goes to Unschool. Their vision, in fact, is to create an online learning ecosystem for all the learning needs. I believe that we also have somebody from Unschool who has joined us in. If I may please invite you, sir or ma'am, to please hop in to also share your thoughts. If you could have the representative from Unschool. Yes, oh, we have.
Yeah. So I hope you guys can hear us. This is Rahul, the CEO, and Narayanan, the Chief Business Officer. Really proud moment for us. It's only been about 15 months for us as we started the business, and it's going pretty well. This is a privilege to receive the award in the skills category. So yeah, onwards and upwards from here, and couldn't be more grateful.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All the very best.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations indeed to both of you and to Unschool as well. Well, on that inspiring note, let's also march forward towards our next category. And here we go. It's on the screen for all of you. It's time for our next category, which is Online EdTech Deployment of the Year, K-12. Ladies and gentlemen, and this award goes to Flip Learn. Learn from everyone or for everyone, anytime, anywhere. I've also been told that we have a representative from Flip Learn who is here to share. So if I may request Team Flip Learn.
Hi, everybody. This is Divya from FlipLearn. And it's the FlipLearn's team at Goa actually right now. So taking their H1 target in. And thank you so much for this honor. Mr. Thadani, I'm also a very proud NIT product. It's a pleasure to see you and hear you right in the morning here. Thank you, Ritu, for the constant encouragement. And just to share now that we've taken 200 schools and 200,000 children online, helping them, we have now made our K-12 product free for any school in the country to adopt, to bring their online learning game into peace and ensuring there's no disruption come what may. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Divya.
Amrita, oh no, you're Amrita or Divya?
Divya, sir.
Oh, Divya, okay. Divya, proud of you, and I envy you. I wish we could be changing places right now.
That too. I love the scenery.
There you go, people, for you to see.
All right.
It's amazing, Divya. Congratulations to you. I think you're already making learning sound like fun, and that's a perfect way to actually celebrate. So kudos to you and the team.
Thank you.
All the very best.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, time for our last award in the second set of categories of awards. So here we go with our final category in the second set, and the category is Best University Giving Online Degree. Ladies and gentlemen, and the award goes to MIT. MIT, as we all know, is believing in a mission of nation building through learning and education and beyond. So congratulations to MIT as well. So on that note, Ritu, we come to the end of the second set of awards. If you'd like to share something as a closing note for the second set.
Well, I would just like to thank Mr. Thadani. I think the points that Mr. Thadani has made, as always, the visionary work that has been done by NIIT in understanding and providing the needs for technology education will go much far. And I think today the points pertinently he made about gig economy and preparing students for gig economy is something truly, truly exemplary, because till we don't understand as institutions, as educational companies, the need for what the 1/3 of the workplace employees in the gig sector would look at, we'll not be able to address the real problem. So thank you very much, sir. I think your vision today for understanding the gig employee is very large. And it's only in the next 4 to 5 years that we'll really see the impact. And the fact that you put the seeds today is going to make the real big difference there. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thadani.
Bye-bye.
All right, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to begin with our next session as well. So stay with us. We'll get the next session started in just a minute.